Welcome to a video from thedigitallifestyle.com. This time I'm looking at a new virtual instrument, the Synth SX1000, which is a virtual version of the Jen SX1000, which I just happen to have. So I thought this would be a good one to compare because I've got the real thing in front of me and I've got the virtual one. It's €49 currently, €69 the normal price, so it's not a really expensive one. I'm actually playing the demo version here, just to see if it's worth buying when I put it side by side with the original. So mine is for the 1978 version, made by Jen Electronics from Italy. It's got a digital chip inside, but all this is analog. So it's got like a digital oscillator, but it's all analog circuitry in here. 24 octave resonant low pass filter. And this was sold in catalogues, certainly in the UK, where you could pay for it over, £3 a week or whatever it was. I think it was about £300 at the time, 1978. I got this in the late 80s for 30 quid because nobody wanted analog mono synths in the late 80s, and there's no effects on it. It's a single oscillator mono synth, so it was fairly basic. But it had a character, and it still has the wonky key that when I bought it in 1988. I've never been able to find a key. There's a few people manufacture replacement parts, but this key isn't available. So it still to this day doesn't have the wonky key. It's battered. The pots are all quite noisy. I do use this service salt on it, which does keep it going. Keep the contacts clean, and I do clean it, but actually it looks exactly now as it did when I got it, so it hasn't been on the road or anything like that. So what I've done is I've got the demo version here. The demo version has like an audio dip every few seconds, so if you hear that sort of audio cut out, it's because it's the demo version. There's the sound. What I've done is I've copied these over. So you can hear there maybe I might just do just the level slightly. So you hear mine's got a less sustain running. So my release is at 3 on there, and the release is at 3 on there. So I actually copied these because there's not a lot of parameters. I've actually copied this precisely. So I think the oscillator actually sounds pretty close. Maybe that release envelope is a bit longer on here than it is on mine. Apart from that, that could be accounted for. These pots are a bit wonky now. So then mine's at sort of 4. This is at 3, and they're probably about the same. But it's an old synth. So this is actually a great synth to learn on. When I got this, I already had a DX100, which is nothing like an analog mono synth. But to learn analog synthesis, this is a really good synth. It's simple. There's a single oscillator, but a separate envelope for the filter, which I always thought was really nice. You can get some nice effects from that. There's the single oscillator has got triangle, square, and pulse. You've got pulse width modulation, a single LFO which can do the pulse width, and the filter LFO and pitch LFO. There's a noise generator, it's got glide modes, and I say it's got 2 envelopes. So this is the virtual version has definitely got more bottom end. It could be the aging circuit design on this, but the aging circuits. Anyway, so let's try a couple other things where I've got it open. So my favorite thing to do on this thing is to put in pulse width modulation on. You can hear that noisy pots on mine. Let's get the speed. Alright, the other thing you can hear on mine is the LFO is a bit temperamental. But I'll set it at 3. So I'll set the PWM at max, pulse width 50, and PWM. So I'll set high PWM to max, pulse width 50. That's on max. Oh, set my speed at 3. Set the speed on that exactly on 3. So you can hear there that on the hardware on the Gen, you don't really get to hear that 50% square wave tone. On this you do. There you can hear it. So slightly different. Maybe these pulse widths, let's just set the pulse width, say, at 25%. And we'll set this one at 25%. So I think what's happening there is the pulse width modulation on my Gen is not as extreme. Maybe if we put that at, say, 50, set this one at 50. It's a bit closer now, isn't it? But I think that's what it is. This is not as extreme. So if I go back to my 50 on there, 50 on here, I can probably tune them in together. So that's probably closer. So it's a bit closer now. So that, again, aging circuit. It could be that the one that the development team have used sounds different, and that's their reference point. But actually, this is my favorite kind of sound here. So oscillators, I think, sound pretty close. We can just have a quick listen to the square wave one. I think these are going to be quite close. That's really good, isn't it? I think the square wave is pretty much the same. It's just that pulse width, and maybe the sawtooth has got a bit more bass bottom end to it. So let's switch back to the pulse width there, because I do like that one. Let's have a listen to the filter now. So let's go. Hear my noisy put on there. Put some resonance on. Self-res. So that's my filter. And what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to learn this from my monopoly. I'm going to learn this from multi-poly as well, so I can control those. So let's have a go at setting both at mid there. So pretty different with those midpoints. I'm actually going to switch to the trying the square wave, just as we know that they match up better. There you go. We were a bit closer now, aren't we? So that's 7. So actually, given the state of mind, and the noisy pots, I think it sounds pretty good. Okay, that's pretty close, isn't it? So that is pretty good, actually. I would say that's really close. If on the lower envelope intensities, let's say set it at 3, I think the pot on mine is affecting that sort of results. So I need to crank that up to achieve the same as the plugin there. But I can't blame the plugin for that. I think that's my part as well. I think that sounded really good. There is some noise on this as well. We could turn the VCO or the VC off, and we can have vibrato on the VCO as well. Let's turn that. Let's try vibrato on 10. What let the speed on about 7. And we can turn that all off. Let's put it back on the PCM, on the PWA. Again, not that different. Not that vibrato down for now. We could, if I turn the VCO off, you can hear the noise. So the noise is noisier. That's on pink noise and white noise. Yeah, it's quite a bit different, isn't it? There's more intensity on there on that one. Again, could be just down to mine being a bit wonky on there. So just I'm going to try a slightly different sound. One I always really liked on this was to get that pulse width modulation, get a bit higher, and get for a short attack, and a bit, and open the filter up so it just, that's it. So let's see if I can recreate that one. So I've got 8 foot frequency. What did it? Frequency of 7. Resonance. Envelope intensity up to 9. And I think we've already figured out mine's a bit not as good on that envelope intensity, so we might have to change that. So I think that if I switch to a triangle wave, I think that's, I switch to a square wave. So again, pretty close when you do that. Now the virtual one, of course, with it being virtual, has got some extra features on there, which is really good to see. There's a sub-oscillator. You could add a sub-oscillator to the Jen with a little mod, and so they've included that, and that I think will make a nice difference because you can go 3 down on there. So that's a nice feature to add in there. So I haven't got that. The other thing you've got is velocity as well. So you can control the filter velocity. Which actually so that's a nice, be able to sort of add some velocity to the filter and the volume as well. So that you can change the keyboard priority and the bend range. You can actually put it to poly mode and connect it to a little poly synth. And I don't know that it re-triggers the envelopes. Let's see. I think it does actually, so that's quite nice. You've got the glide mode as well, which there's no glide on off on this, it's just the value. So you can actually change the LFO wave. On here it's just fixed, and on this one you can choose it. So that's a nice little extra feature on there, including sample and hold. And you can change the sawtooth shape as well. Which is something you can't do on there as well. And some key tracking. And you can turn that noise off. And I'm guessing that is the noise of the white pink noise. And there's an extra bit of noise you can turn off there, which is the MM537 digital noise sort of chip on there. That you can turn it off, so you can get. So let's have a quick listen. I turn the noise on. So I think it's about the repeat of that noise, how it repeats that noise. You can turn that on off as well. There's an arpeggiator built in as well, something that is not on the. We don't want noise arpeggiator. We'll have VCO arpeggiation. It's actually a nice sounding arpeggiator on there, which you can hold it. You can select how often it resets and the mode as well, and the note order. There's even a chord mode. And there's a note order options as well. And then you've got some effects on it as well. Let's turn the arpeggiator off. So we can turn these on. We've got some tape echo, a wave folder, a flanger, and a spring reverb on there. So I can turn some of those off. So that's your tape echo, wave folder. Flanger. And a spring reverb. And I think the Jen does respond nice to a bit of effects on it. I just got some on my mixer here. So there's a quick look at the SX1000 from AudioThings.net. I actually really like it. I think it sounds pretty close, given that this is a machine from a synth from 1978 and has its issues with the pots. PDRM doesn't sound exactly the same. It could be down to my machine, but I think this is a great fun little plugin. It's not expensive, and I always thought the German was a great way of learning analog subtractive synthesis, especially because it's got the two envelopes on there. So I would recommend at least give the demo a try. I quite like it, and I'm gonna have some fun. What I'm going to do now is I've got to recreate some of these sounds on the multi-poly up for a later video and sound pack. So thanks for watching this video. I'll include a link to the plugin in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.